The moment I saw her in bed with my best friend, my world shattered. But fate had other plans. Death wasn't the end, it was my rebirth. Rain hammered against the glass walls of our penthouse in the heart of Helmsworth City, a booming metropolis of power and corruption. I stood frozen. Her laughter, once the soundtrack of my life, now stung like acid. Emily, my wife. Daniel, my best friend since school. The two people I trusted more than anything. Entwined. Laughing. Mocking. He thinks he owns the world just because he made some money, Daniel sneered. Let him. It makes ruining him all the more delicious, Emily purred. They didn't know I was there. They didn't see me until it was too late. My voice didn't even shake. When I said, you should have at least locked the door. What followed was a blur. A struggle. Shouts. A fall. And then darkness. I died. But I didn't stay dead. I woke up gasping. Same body. 10 years younger. My dorm room from college. My old posters, my books. My phone buzzed a notification from 2015. I had gone back in time. My hands trembled, not with fear, but rage. This time, I wasn't going to fall for love. I wasn't going to build for others to destroy. I was going to take everything. This world would be mine. I changed my name. Ethan Graves became Lucas Reed. My new identity was a ghost, invisible but deadly. I cashed in my future knowledge, Bitcoin, stock markets, startups. I played the game like a god among mortals. I didn't just make money. I built shadows. Shell companies. Offshore accounts. Cybersecurity firms. A silent empire that no one could trace to me. And as I rose, I watched her. Emily. Still in college. Still hunting for wealth, unaware that her future was already burning. I recruited talent hackers, brokers, mercenaries. Not for violence, but for control. Influence. Information. Helmsworth became my web. I pulled the strings of politicians, journalists, and CEOs from the dark. And no one knew who Lucas Reed truly was. While Emily climbed social ladders, I burned them from beneath. I sabotaged her connections. Subtly exposing scandals, crashing stock prices of companies she tried to attach herself to. Orchestrating smear campaigns so carefully no one could trace them. But it wasn't enough. I didn't just want her to suffer. I wanted her to trust me. Love me. And then lose everything. Years passed, and my empire spanned the globe: tech, pharma, finance, defense. I held keys to industries like gods hold storms. I bought the very company where Daniel once started his career and shut it down. Then I made my move. At a masquerade gala held by a Helmsworth charity, I met Emily again. She was radiant, charming. Ambitious, exactly how I remembered her. She was with a new fiancé, the heir of a real estate tycoon. But she noticed me. The mysterious billionaire with no past. Lucas Reed. We danced. She laughed. She started to fall. Within 6 months, she broke her engagement. Within 8, we were married in the same venue in Helmsworth where she once humiliated me. The media adored our whirlwind romance. Socialites swooned over our fairy tale. They never saw the shadows. On our wedding night, I gave her a gift, a tablet. One tap played a video: her betrayal, Daniel's death in prison, and her accounts being drained. Footage she didn't know existed. Evidence she thought destroyed. You married a ghost, Emily. A shadow from your past. Her scream was delicious. By morning, she was gone. And I stood on the rooftop of my skyscraper, alone but victorious. They took everything from me in one lifetime. In this one. I took it all back, and more. The Empire of Shadows will never fall. She disappeared after that night. Some say she ran to another country. Others say she lost her mind. I didn't care. My empire grew colder, darker, stronger. I established Nexus Corp, an AI conglomerate with real-time data surveillance, enabling control over elections, markets, and international affairs. It became the spine of Helmsworth and the world. But power brings predators. Other corporations began hunting for my real identity. A silent war erupted between kings of shadows. An assassin nearly reached me in Prague. A data breach in Shanghai. I knew I couldn't hide forever. So I did the unthinkable. I revealed myself partially. I held a press conference, stepping out as the youngest tech billionaire the world had ever seen. The name Lucas Reed echoed across nations. But they still didn't know the full truth. They never knew about Ethan Graves. Or what Emily Ann Daniel did. Or why I built an empire of revenge. And they never would. Because some legacies are meant to live in silence. I didn't build an empire for admiration. I built it so no one could ever hurt me again. And as I looked out over the Helmsworth skyline, I knew one thing for certain. In a world of wolves, I had become the storm. But storms don't rest. The world was changing. Nations began leaning on Nexus Corp for digital infrastructure. I became a silent kingmaker. A summit was held in Vailmonte, neutral city where power brokers met in secret. I was invited as Lucas Reed, unknowingly standing above presidents and royalty. Among the guests was her Emily. Different. Haggard. Wearing another name. Attached to an Eastern European syndicate that didn't realize who she truly was. Or who I was. She approached me with cautious curiosity. Have we met before? No, I smiled. But I know what it's like to lose everything. That night, I watched her desperately pitch proposals, seduce ministers, and attempt to claw her way back up. I made one call. Her syndicate partners vanished. Her name was blacklisted. In hours, she became invisible. In the chaos, she ran into the darkness. No one ever saw her again. I returned to Helmsworth that same week. Alone in my penthouse, I looked at the city I owned. I hadn't just won. I had erased her from the board. The empire I built stood unchallenged. From betrayal, I carved an indestructible legacy. I was no longer a man. I was a myth. And in this world of liars, kings, and ghosts only myths survive.
And that was the story of a man who was betrayed, reborn, and rose to become a legend the world would never forget. If you enjoyed this story of revenge, power, and reincarnation, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more gripping tales just like this one. Your support helps bring these epic stories to life. And trust me, this is just the beginning. See you in the next story.